Hello everyone, it's Dr. Manjiri Nadkarni, Ayurvedic MD, registered holistic nutritionist, back today for another session on Wellness Wednesday. So, today's Wellness Wednesday, we are going to talk about your thyroid gland, and this is one of the most important uh, glands in your body. It is an endocrine gland, so it will secrete a lot of thyroid hormone. So that's situated at the front of the neck, buttership, butterfly like shaped gland, and it will control a lot of functions of your body like digestion or your heart rate, your body temperature, also your respiration. And thyroid receptors are found everywhere in the body, so it's extremely important to understand about your thyroid gland. A lot of the time signs of thyroid are missed because you may be checking your blood test for different thyroid hormones. Typically, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, is what's measured in your blood. And if that test is normal, you could have a normal thyroid function, is what your doctor says, that, oh, your lab work is perfect, but they are not checking the specific parameters which will actually indicate that your thyroid function is off. So, thyroid lab testing, we will have another session on this, and it is crucial to get specific test. TSH is the one that's most widely used, but TSH can be normal even if you have autoimmune conditions, right? So this is how thyroid conditions are missed quite a bit, and that's why it's extremely important to talk about your thyroid gland. So there are 20 different signs that will indicate your thyroid is out of balance. Number one is fatigue. If you are constantly tired even after a full night's sleep, no matter what happens, you can't seem to have enough energy, your thyroid could be off balance, right? Unexplained weight gain or weight loss. So if you are not eating poorly, or if you are not, trying to lose weight and you've suddenly lost a lot of weight, right? So any unexplained changes in the body weight are going to be a cause of thyroid issues. Hair thinning or hair loss, especially if you are looking from your eyebrows, especially the ends of the eyebrows, also from your scalp, your hair, right? Getting frizzy hair, getting extremely dry hair, any body hair loss as well is an indication that your thyroid could be off balance. Cold hands and feet are the other one. So if you have extremely cold hands and feet all the time, or you're feeling cold all the time, your thyroid could be off. Dryness of skin. So I have a lot of clients come to me and talk about their dry skin, and no matter what they try, nothing works. They have dry, scaly skin, and that could also be a result of imbalanced thyroid. Having an extremely puffy face, a lot of swelling around your eyes could be another indicator of thyroid issues. Brain fog, not having a good memory, constantly forgetting, or your brain just doesn't seem to function as well. You feel fuzzy, you can't seem to think clearly, could be a sign of thyroid issues, right? Depression, anxiety, if they are not related to any um, health not health neurotransmitters or related to any life events. If you are constantly depressed and you can't find any reason, if you have a lot of anxiety and there is no reason, and there is no family history, your neurotransmitters are not off balance, that is a sign that your thyroid could be off balance. Now, constipation or diarrhea, right? So constipation, having a poor digestion, is also one of the signs of hypothyroidism. And having diarrhea without any explanation, or really hungry all the time, a super fast metabolism, that is a sign of hyperthyroidism. So if you're noticing any changes in your digestion, in your bowel habit without any reason, your thyroid needs to be checked. Irregular or heavy menstrual cycle. So thyroid affect your menstrual cycle. So if you are noticing any menstrual cycle changes, check your thyroid. Low libido or fertility related issues. So if you have a really low libido, that's one sign that your thyroid gland could be off. And fertility issues, if you are unable to conceive, no matter, your all your tests are normal, everything looks healthy, and you are unable to conceive, or if there are any multiple miscarriages, you want to go back and get your thyroid checked in a proper way. A slow heart rate, you know or a too fast heart rate is also a sign of thyroid related issues. Palpitations which are not related to anxiety, palpitations that come out of the blue, could be a sign your thyroid is off balance. Brittle nails or ridges on nails, thyroid does affect your hair, it does affect your nails. So if you are noticing any changes in the nails, time to get your thyroid checked. Hoarseness of voice, so suddenly your voice changes, that is also a sign of thyroid, could be wrong. So always getting your thyroid checked is a good idea. If you are frequently clearing your throat, so if you constantly have to kind of clear your throat when you're talking, or you wake up and you just find yourself very phlegmy or irritable in the throat, need to check your thyroid. Any muscle weakness, right? So if you have any muscular pain, any aches, any joint pain, again, that is a hidden sign that your thyroid could be off. Often people will think about joints and arthritis or muscle and some kind of activity, but you also want to be able to check if your thyroid is functioning well or not, right? Trouble concentrating, if you cannot focus, or if you feel very lethargic, if you feel lack of motivation, that is another sign your thyroid is off balance. If you have a visible swelling in the front of your neck, that is the exact thyroid region, time to get your thyroid checked. If you are intolerant to cold or heat, so you cannot stand cold, you get really uncomfortable in colder weather, or if you cannot stand too much heat, time to get your thyroid checked. Any insomnia where you cannot sleep, time to get your thyroid checked. And mood swings or irritability are also a sign of getting your thyroid checked, right? So even if your labs are normal, TSH is normal, it means that there could be something off with your other thyroid hormones. Thyroid stimulating hormone is the one that will stimulate your thyroid gland to make hormones T3, T4, but it's not the only parameter to be checked. In Ayurveda, when we look at your thyroid, we are looking at it from a Vata perspective. We are looking at it from an Udana Vata perspective. And often, if there is any inflammation, we also have to look at Pitta. Often, hypothyroidism is a condition where the symptoms are going to be seen similar to Kapha excess. And whenever you are seeing hyperthyroidism, you are going to see a lot of signs of pitta excess along with excess vata, right? So those are some of the signs. And there are several causes, poor diet, chronic stress, irregular sleep routine. Sometimes heredity is often a big challenge. A lot of ama or toxic foods, toxicity can affect your thyroid gland first. Those are going to be a lot of challenges here. And often we look at your throat chakra. So the throat chakra is the one that governs speech or communication. If you cannot express yourself, if you are fearing any kind of judgment and you have suppressed communication, your throat chakra could be affected, and that's also a sign that something's going on with your thyroid. Now there are several ways while where people may experience a normal thyroid lab, but there still could be an imbalance in the thyroid function. And one of the simple homemade tests to do that is you want to be able to measure your basal body temperature first thing in the morning before you get out of bed, right? So it reflects your resting metabolic rate, which is closely tied to your thyroid activity. So take a temperature and measure, armpit temperature, oral temperature, whichever you prefer. Take it first thing as soon as you wake up, as soon before you get out of the bed. And if the temperature is lower, so if it's lower than 36.4 degrees centigrade, it will indicate a lower thyroid function. If it's higher, it may indicate hyperthyroidism as well. So always use a digital thermometer. Make sure that you take it before you eat, before you get out of bed, and then you can place it, in the armpit after some activity as well. So sometimes I'll tell my clients to take two different measurements, one as soon as you're in bed and then 10 minutes after like an activity. And for women, I would avoid your cycle phases because that could lead to temperature changes as well. So these are signs. I've talked about certain signs of thyroid imbalance. Thyroid disease is almost a pandemic. We don't have enough nutrition for the thyroid. You're not getting all the vital nutrients through your food, and all the food toxins, whether we talk about pesticides, whether we talk about different things, BPAs, and these are all goitrogens that are going to affect your thyroid gland and interfere with its function. That is why eating a super clean diet is extremely important, right? So today we talked a little bit about hypothyroid. Hypothyroid is when the thyroid function is low. Hyperthyroid is when the thyroid function is excess. Due to the excess of hormones. In hypo, there is low secretion of hormones. In the next session, we are going to focus purely on autoimmune kind of thyroid, Hashimoto's, which is the autoimmune hypothyroid, and Graves' disease, which is the hyperthyroid, which is autoimmune in nature. So it is slightly different, or rather very different, when it comes to treatment protocols, in Ayurveda, as compared to a regular hypo or hyperthyroid, right? So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions about your thyroid gland, feel free to post in the comments, and I will see you next session for another video on thyroid. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.